Hey everyone. So today is 1 year ago that I found out that I was pregnant and that my daughter Ryan was going to exist. And we had been trying for a long time, so it was very much a welcomed thing and of knowledge. But I want to get into another point. As much as I was happy, I didn't allow myself to be happy, and that's because I have suffered miscarriages before. And by the time I got pregnant with Ryan, I didn't think I could get pregnant because we had tried and tried and tried and tried, and it just, nothing happened. And so I remember I took the test while my husband was at work, and I was cooking dinner when he got home. And I just had it there, and he saw it, and a smile smirked over his face, and then he got really calm. Because we both knew that just because it's positive doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to stick. And I was like, I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to say, yay, we're pregnant. I don't want to do that. And I'll take another test in a week, and if in a week that one comes out positive, then I'll call and make a doctor's appointment. And so for about my first 16, 17 weeks of being pregnant, I held down a lot of my happiness. I had moments of happiness and where it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I couldn't allow myself to be as happy as I should have been for this new life growing inside me. And so that leads me into the conversation of miscarriages. And I know that when I had my last one, it hit me really, really hard. It hit my husband really, really hard. We had just started trying, and so we didn't think that I was, and took a test, came out positive, and we were so excited. And then I remember one morning I was getting ready for work, and and we had gotten in the car, and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I had felt something. I was like, okay, did I pee myself a little bit? And my heart started pounding, and it was kind of like I subconsciously knew. And when I wiped, there was blood. And I called for my husband, and I'm sitting on the toilet, and I couldn't say it. And he looked down and saw the tissue in my hand, and he goes, you're bleeding. And he called my boss, and it was really traumatic. And I don't think miscarriages are talked about enough because it's just like, okay, you're pregnant and then you're not. And I think it's because a lot of people don't know what to say, don't know what to do. They say the wrong thing. And one of the things that was said to me that really hurt is, oh, but you were barely pregnant. So if you wouldn't have taken the test, you would have never known. You just would have thought it was your regular period. I was 6 weeks when I miscarried, so it's called what's called a chemical pregnancy, where the egg gets fertilized, but in the implantation process, something goes wrong, and you lose it. So yes, I was very barely pregnant, as some people would say. But the second that test read positive, I started imagining my life, what it was going to be like with a second child. And I think a lot of women go through this, is the second that the test reads positive, whether you're happy about it or not, so many things go running through your brain. For me, it was, names immediately started going through my head, and how I was going to decorate the baby's room, and my daughter was so excited, and, I probably shouldn't have told her right away, and I didn't, this next time, I didn't tell her until my first doctor's appointment. She was actually at the first doctor's appointment, so she got to hear the heartbeat the same time we first heard the heartbeat. But regardless if you are barely pregnant or a late-term miscarriage, it's still a loss, and it still hurts. And for the women who have gone through that, don't be afraid to, when someone says, oh, well, you were barely pregnant, shut that down and go, you know what, that doesn't matter. I was still pregnant and it still hurts and I still lost something that meant something to me. Sorry, my general sees me crying or feels my emotions and he's wanting to make sure mommy is okay. But, you know, and I've had a miscarriage at 16 weeks before, and it's devastating no matter how far along you are. And another thing that I was sad, well, at least you didn't hear the heartbeat, or at least you didn't get too attached. And I say, fuck that shit. Don't say those things. Don't try to have good intentions and say the wrong thing. If you're not sure what to say, don't say anything at all. Or better yet, just say, you know what, I'm here for you if you need to talk. But don't say the wrong thing. So if you're not sure what to say when someone's had a miscarriage, don't say anything. And when and if I choose to have another child, even though I may have another miscarriage, I'm not going to allow myself to let past situations dictate my happiness. Because I really missed out the first part of my pregnancy with Ryan and on the happiness and the joy. And so if you've gone through a miscarriage and you become pregnant again, don't be afraid to be happy. Because that's one thing I regret, is I regret forcing myself to not be happy. So, yay! 1 year ago today, I found out Ryan was going to be Ryan. And my life is truly blessed with her in it. So, have a good night.